Hey everyone, welcome to the next tutorial in the series that's going to help you think in Unity language. In this one we're going to do some camera work. We're going to have some fun with the cameras. So the first thing I want to do is to make this camera, the main camera, follow our player around, and also we want to set some boundaries in case we don't want the camera to go some places. So what we will do is create a new script, a C# script, and that script's going to be called camera follow. And we're going to attach it to the main camera. Open it, start working on it. So the first thing we want to do here is to find the player and to set a couple floats to the player's position. And also we want to ask the player if they want to have boundaries in the camera. That's going to be a public bool boundaries. We're going to find the player. We're going to find the player. We're also going to do float for the player position in X and Y. We're going to do a public float, which is going to set how long we want the camera to take to reach the player. We also need public vector 3s for the limits of the camera, the boundaries. It's going to be the min boundary and the max boundaries. So now that we have this, we have to find the player as always with find object of type player. And now that we have this set, we're going to go to the update method. I usually delete this. You don't have to, it doesn't matter, but sometimes I do it. So now we have the player. We're going to say that x equals the we're gonna set this use this new function just so you learn it. It's called smooth damp. So smooth damp, what it does is it smoothly changes from one float to another. So our float currently is the transform that position that x. This is the camera's position, so the target position is player that transform that position, that x, where the player is in the x-axis. We also need the velocity of the camera, which is going to be set by the function itself. So we just need another vector, a vector 2, which is going to be the velocity of the camera. So we just do ref velocity in x, and then smooth time is the time to reach a player. That's cool. Now we do need to do that for the y-axis. We do the same exact code, mathf, smooth damp, transform the position. I usually write my code again, just in case you make a mistake. If you make a mistake and you just copy and paste the mistake, you will have the same mistake over and over again. You will not be able to find it. So it's better to just write again all the code. Okay, now we have this. We're gonna say that the transform dot position of the camera is a new vector 3, which is going to be x, y, and the same transform that position, that's c. Okay, that's it. With this, the camera will follow our player smoothly. Now, we also want to check if the player wants boundaries, so we're going to say that if boundaries is true, then we're going to say that transform the position cannot go over some points. What are these points going to be? They're going to be a new vector 3, and it's going to be a mathf.clamp, which means you cannot go over or below these points. Float value is what's the value? It's for that position that x, because we're in the x part of the vector 3. This is x. The max is going to, the minimum is going to be min boundaries in x. Then the max is going to be max boundaries in x. Now in y, we're going to do another mathf.clamp. It's going to take transform that position that y, and then the minimum is going to be min boundaries that y, and the maximum is going to be max boundaries that y. It's easy enough. And now for c, just transform that position that c. It doesn't really matter. It's not going to change because we're playing 2D. So now we have this. With this information, we just go to our scene, we hit play. Look at this, time to reach, we're gonna test that. So hit play. Right now the camera will follow our player, look at that. So if you set a larger target to reach like 0.5, it's gonna take a bit to reach him. And then if we set boundaries, for example, we want max, we're just gonna start this, doesn't move. We want the max to be 50 and 50. So now it moves up and right only, doesn't move left from this point, which is great. So we can try many combinations of this to have what we want in our game. So the next thing we want to do, that's done. We want a minimap. I'm gonna create a new camera. In this new camera, it's gonna have this set to don't clear because you don't want it to block anything that's behind it. Calling mask everything, no, I don't want the UI to appear in my minimap, makes no sense. The projection is gonna be the same, orthographic, and I want it to be larger so everything seems smaller. Look at that, it seems smaller as you make it larger. And what you change to make this a minimap is the viewport rec. So experimenting, you can experiment and do many things. So I'm just gonna use my experimenting values, which are these values. You're gonna have them in the text guide, 0.3. And now you hit play, and there's the minimap. And so you can change it in game like this, and you will set it wherever you want, whatever size you want. Like that. You can do many things with your minimap. So now you have a minimap. That's pretty cool. But you have to change these values can only appear in one camera in the game, so you just have to deactivate them. And also I want it to follow the player, so I just add the camera follow script to it too. That's what you need to do here. We also need to set this camera to don't clear for our next step. You'll see something really interesting now. We're going to add a new camera that's going to be a background camera. It's going to be called background camera. Again, don't clear. Orthographic, this is actually going to be a smaller camera, and you have to move it to somewhere where the player will not reach. Never. The player's never going to come here. So what you need to do is set the depth of this to lower of -1, because usually the main camera is in -1, so you want it to be lower than that. And then from here, this image background 1 mpg, you just import it, leave it as is, it's fine. And I'm making it larger, covers the whole camera. We hit play, and now we have a background, a minimap, and everything is set. So this was a sweet short tutorial, but it's really interesting what you can do with cameras. So let me know just in the suggestion box what you want for the next tutorial, and I hope you have fun with this. Oh, never forget to deactivate these on your cameras. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching.